think you might have fixed it. Okay,
Right.
wonderful. Okay. Well, we will begin momentarily. We will start off though by doing an indication. If you'd like to stand, if you'd like to stand with us and, right, that would be wonderful. And I'll ask Mr. Blackburn to lead us.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for the good summer that you gave us and for this good start of a new year that's before us. We know that every good gift and every perfect gift comes from you, the Father of lights, in whom there's no variableness, neither shadow of turning. So we pray, first of all, that this year will be a great, wonderful school year, that we will go beyond all the goals that we set, and that we see wonderful advancements with just everyone from the central office all the way down to the principals, the teachers, the students, in every way. I ask that you will bless our meeting tonight. Give the board members wisdom that we might know how to make the best informed decisions that will be for the good of this school district, and especially for these precious students. And we ask these things in the name of Jesus, our Lord.
Now turn and give pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will start with approval of the board agenda. We do have one amendment to make. We will be adding in after Mrs. Julie Simpson presents, we will add in a vote on the superintendent's contract about an extension. So with that being said, can I please?
I move, Madam Chair, that we add this to the agenda at the appointed place that you suggested.
Well, thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of open session minutes from July 28th, 2025. Again, motion is required. Thank you. There's a first. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Moving along to Dr. Hall for doing district highlights.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to welcome everybody back. School year is kicked off, and it's been a great start to the school year. All the principals are reporting great things so far. I was there on kickoff day, opening day for Car Rider Line at all three schools, and although it was very rainy, like it has been for the past month, there were a lot of smiling faces. And so we're very pleased with that and how the school year has begun. Also, just touching back on our town hall meetings, we had great turnout for the 2 town hall meetings before school started. And we appreciate everyone coming out. We appreciate the questions, and we appreciate the positive feedback that we have received thus far from everyone that has heard about the town hall meetings. Our back to school block party was a huge hit. If you didn't make it out for that day, we had a great turnout. It was a beautiful day without rain. And thanks to the town and Explore Elkin for assisting us and coming alongside us in that endeavor. It was very successful. We received a ton of school supplies from the community that has been distributed to all 3 schools for our students to use. We're so grateful for that. And it was an opportunity for students and families to come out and meet different organizations throughout the town and the community. It's just a great day, and we're so grateful that those partners joined with us on that. While sports are in full swing, I've attended a volleyball match, and it was packed. We were playing Forbush, and it was a great crowd there. I was very excited to see that. And the football game Friday night was packed. Again, I kind of put a charge out to the community at our town hall to just come out and support our student athletes and cheer them on. And I think they've answered that call, and I hope that continues. We have another home football game this Friday night, and I hope to see the stands packed once again. So we're excited about that. At this time, I'm going to call on each of the principals to stand up and just kind of give a little quick overview of how the school year has started for them. Dr. Rycroft, you want to kick us off?
Very positive, everybody in a great place. Just a couple of highlights. So the first week back was the week of NC Third, which is something that our local churches are involved in. And so we were very blessed to have Mount Pleasant Baptist Church provide a big breakfast spread one day. Elkin Valley Baptist Church provided lunch for our teachers on our opening staff meeting day. And then Poplar Springs provided a really great snacks and supply spread. So during the week, teachers come in and kind of refresh themselves and talk and catch up. We had our first PTA meeting of the year last week. We had about 20 new faces there, which was super exciting. Very eager parents to get involved, so we love that. Our line this year has been finished by 7:57, 7:58 every morning, which is huge because then we can start our academic day on time, which is awesome. And lunch is much calmer. It's made a big difference having 110 less bodies. All in all, it's been a great start. Very excited about it.
Y'all need to stop on by about 35 every day. It has been a very strong and positive beginning for Elkin Middle School. Sixth grade has 101 students at this time. They have transitioned smoothly into middle school, with many noting. I shared a simple Google form with staff and students Friday of last week. And responses from the sixth grade, they feel seen, they're very welcomed, and they're excited to begin. I think they just had a great beginning. Common highlights included reconnecting with their friends, meeting new teachers, making new friends, appreciating their independence. They love the fact between their classes, they can hang with their friends as they walk to their next class. They can sit with their friends at lunchtime, and they don't have to walk in a line. They love it. Challenges were very typical for the start of middle school: navigating the buildings, finding classrooms, and adjusting to the stairs. But the students have quickly adapted. Our seventh grade has 96 students, and our eighth grade is sitting at 102. Eighth grade students were excited to have the first lunch period. They sit by themselves. It's just the eighth grade. They really enjoy that time. Sixth and seventh grade students have enjoyed their share time at 12:35. It's quite loud, but it's beautiful. They just sit and they just talk. You need to come join. You just need to. It's gone very smoothly overall. They love the food. Love the food. That sounds great. They love the hands-on learning opportunities, especially they mentioned Minecraft, engineering, science, arts, new and returning staff. When we think about our teachers, our sixth grade staff, I'm sure they were very scared over the summer about new beginning. And I received a beautiful email probably about a week or so ago talking about how they felt so welcome. I think that the transition for our teachers have gone extremely smoothly with all the moves that we had to make. And I think that they have established their classrooms, their homes, and it's very welcoming for our students. The Elk Academy is going well. I have a student there. I visit daily. Those students seem very happy in their place. They're learning and working. The teacher has expressed the enjoyment of beginning a new change in a new setting. I think she so appreciates this experience that she's going to have with the Elk Academy. We have 2 new hires, band, our music director. I'm sorry, am I not screaming loud enough?
Here.
Music director is offering gym music. Last year, we took a small dip
in enrollment of choice for
Mm.
band or chorus. And so we're offering it as a general music, an opportunity to explore. That has gone extremely well. Our band students love him. His enthusiasm, his love for music has really, it's a good thing. Yes. My social studies teacher, he has come right in. He's very welcoming, loves those kiddos, established relationships. It has gone extremely well. Last year's science hire was new. He was a biology major. He has now been selected as a teaching fellow with ASU. And so he began his learning over the summer, and he is already sharing his knowledge with us. And so he's very excited as well. And finally, I have a new math tutor. She comes 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 until 2. She's working in the inclusion classrooms across 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it's a lot, but it's gone very well. Thank you.
Thank
You. Yeah.
So last Friday, I also sent out a 3-question survey to my students and teachers. So far, I have received 175 responses. From their responses, I'll share some of the common themes. The questions were very simple. What was the best part of the first 8 days of school? So just asking some reflection questions. So I'll share some of the common themes our students and staff have identified as the highlights of their first 8 days at Elkin High School. Number 1, friends and relationships. The most common theme we heard from students was the excitement of reconnecting with old friends, making new ones, and spending time together at lunch or with their favorite staff members. For many, these relationships have been the absolute highlight of their return to school and remind us how important the sense of community is to our students. The second one, classes and teachers. Students spoke highly of their classes and teachers. They specifically mentioned courses such as English, Spanish, CNA, health science, foods and nutrition, art, JROTC, PE, weightlifting, math, anatomy and physiology, yearbook, world history, and engineering. In addition, many praised their teachers for being supportive, noting how much these positive classroom experiences are shaping their start to the school year. Next, sports and activities. Another highlight has been the energy brought by sports and extracurricular activities. Students were excited about the football game, soccer games, even though they've both been rained out, tennis matches, marching band, and the senior sunrise. Joining teams and participating in these activities has been a huge source of excitement, school spirit, and pride. Next, school environment. Students also expressed appreciation for the warm welcomes they received, the fun and engaging classroom activities like scavenger hunts and hands-on projects, and the clear routines that helped to make the opening of school smooth. Our teachers have likewise noted that students are engaged and enthusiastic about learning, which is encouraging to see so early in the school year. A few other highlights. Finally, there some lighter but more meaningful highlights, maybe lunch and food, very important. Students also, like middle school, bragged on the food in the cafeteria, and our teachers bragged on the surprise treats left in the teacher's lounge from so many of our community partners, and that came up frequently. In addition, many of our students expressed enthusiasm about real-world opportunities, including internships, pre-apprenticeships, and other work-based learning experiences. So in summary, both students and staff have spoken positively about the smooth start and the welcoming environment. Overall, the opening of school has set a strong foundation for a successful year ahead at Elkin High School, and I am looking forward to everything else that comes.
Awesome. Great. Thank all 3 of you for.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. And you pass along, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be coming out to the schools and serving lunch, and we're gonna test those lunches as well. I can't wait. We'll be at the elementary school in September, and then we'll be at the middle high in October. So tell them to be looking for us. Thank you. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay. Good news. from Mrs. Amanda Burton. Please take it away from, looks like we had some amazing winners from our beta.
Good. Evan, do you want to come up with me?
Yay, Evan.
So over the summer, Elkin High School Beta students proudly represented our school and community at the National Beta Club Convention in Orlando, Florida. The National Beta Convention is a prestigious event that brings together thousands of the brightest and most talented students from across the country. Students compete in academic, artistic, and leadership categories that showcase creativity, problem solving, and innovation. So tonight, we are very proud to recognize the following students who placed in the top 10 nationally in the following categories. First up, Kendall Lester is a national champion. She was #1 in creative writing in Division I. Lee Prevette placed 10th in color photography. Carson Schaffner placed ninth in sculpture. And then our digital portfolio team placed 9th, and this was led by Evan Baker, Aiden Bird, Mason Day, Alyssa Freeman, Ella Kleinhexel, Autumn Longworth, Stephanie Morales, Josie Todd, Rosalind Vargas, and Mackenzie White. So let's give these students a round of applause. Do you want to share anything about digital? Okay, so we are incredibly proud of our Beta Club members and their sponsors for their time. Ms. Mullis went with them to Florida this summer. The energy and commitment that's invested in preparing for this event, their success reflects the high standards of excellence at Elkin High School and the strong support from our families, our staff, and our community. So again, let's give these students a round of applause.
Now, Ms. Burton, Evan proved Friday night, he has plenty to say.
I know.
I'm shocked. Not one to say.
Don't quit, young man. Don't quit.
That's right.
Yes, thank you so much. Evan, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Public forum. Is there anybody online? Brett? Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, I suggest we forego
Yeah.
break and get on with business.
Is everybody else okay with that to just continue? Okay. All right. We will move along to public information. I'd like to ask Mr. John Altmuller to come up, and he's going to give us some maintenance updates.
Madam Chairperson, members of the board, Dr. Hall. When people find out you work for a public school system, you always get asked, don't you enjoy having the summers off? And I said, well, in the maintenance department, summer is actually our busiest time. And you can barely squeeze in a vacation. But, and this year's not been any different. Lots of stuff going on. I mean, you have your typical, all your yearly inspections that you're trying to get done, your fire extinguishers, your sprinkler systems, your kitchen hoods, all those, your fire inspections, all that stuff has to be done every year. And it takes a lot of time. This year we had, with 6th grade moving, there was a lot of moving and rolling and making sure everybody had the things they need to be able to do their jobs. That's what I've always felt like my purpose is making it to where other people can do their jobs and kids can learn, in a good environment. Along with all of the routine stuff, we had quite a few projects that we've been working on. Of course, the batting cage at Crater Park, and it's done. I've got the new nets. It's still yet to hang. I've been kind of waiting to not put them out there until we get a little bit closer towards the season. Basketball goals in the NH Carpenter gym are complete. New winches, keyed switches, got automatic stops. I mean, it should be really easy. Roof on NH Carpenter Gym. So they started that project I think around the 25th of July. There has been 6 days that they could actually work on it in a month. Hopefully the weather is good now. I talked to them this morning. The plan is to be complete with the main part of the gym on Friday. Hopefully get to the field house first of the week, which what I've seen of the weather forecast first of the week, we're good there. Still go the boiler room roof and then the coal bin area of the boiler room, which is where the new elevator is. We've had some leaks there, so it's a big deal to get that all completely sealed up. New bleachers, last I heard, the equipment is supposed to be here end of September. Still haven't heard any different. We did order new volleyball equipment for the new gym. The whole setup, poles, nets, referee stand, the whole 9 yards. That should be coming in, I'd say within the next month anyway. It's still in the works to do the refurbish the steps going in at the auditorium. Those purchase orders are written. New galvanized handrails. And I've talked with the contractor on that one. So those steps can be done like half and half. They do half of it and you can use half and then you do the other half and you use the other half. Plus, and I'll be talking with principals, we can do a little bit of rerouting of traffic instead of the lower level of the middle school building using those steps to go to the cafeteria. They can go through the band hall and avoid them altogether. So any way we can avoid them would be better, but it can be done to do while kids are in school. Here in a little bit, I'll be presenting to you the bids for new curtains in Dixon Auditorium. Those existing curtains are 33 years old and they're rotting down pretty much. They're dry rotted and they're really gross and they need to go. We're doing light bulb changes for football and baseball fields. They came one time to do it and it was too wet. So it's gotten kicked down the road. The bulbs are here, just waiting on the people. Baseball batting cage, same issues. Ever since baseball quit playing, it's rained every day. And if you dig a hole down there now, it's going to fill up with water. New gym floor. I think we finally may have the HVAC and humidity issues under control. Last report, we had not had any spikes in humidity levels and we're maintaining 45 to 50%. So now they just got to figure what they're going to do to get the floor back in place. Don't know on that one yet. So finally, things looking to in the future, things that we need to start thinking about at Elkin City Schools. The shingle roof and the flat roofs at the over the office at the high school, all of the high school building that has shingles and flat roofs over the offices. Those roofs are degrading faster than I had climbed up there not long ago, and they don't look good. I've gotten estimates. You're probably talking in the neighborhood of $170,000 to do it all.
Is that all the high school?
The high school.
The shingle?
The shingle part, and there's 2 sections of flat roof that are right there, like at the flagpole, main steps on either side. It's flat, and to do all of it, it's in the ballpark of 170,000. I mean, obviously, I don't have that money in maintenance to do that. That's more than I get in a year for maintenance.
How old are those roofs?
It varies, and that's part of the problem. That building was done in 3 sections. dating back to 2006. And they didn't, when they added another section, they didn't go back and tear off and re-roof. They just pieced in. We're having a lot of problems in some of those pieced in places. And it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. And we need to do something before it completely turns loose. There are expansion joints that they put in that roof, engineers when they first designed that building, and they're not holding up well. They're going to have to come up with another means of doing their expansion joints. So that's something we need to be looking at. We still need to be looking into elementary school and life cycle renovations to that building. HVAC, windows, roofs are in pretty good shape for the most part. You know, it probably really needs to go to a 4-pipe system rather than a 2-pipe system on the HVAC. It kind of seems crazy to run heat and cooling at the same time. And some days I question that myself, but for example, a computer lab, you can be calling for cooling in January. When you have a computer running and you have a person, it's basically like having 2 people. So this classroom is designed for 25 students, but it's like you've got 50 in there. So it is going to require cooling even in the winter a lot of times. There are classrooms that honestly, you could probably run heat in the summertime in some of them. Generally, I try not to run boilers in the summertime if at all possible, but sometimes it is necessary. It's just the way these buildings are built and the way your people are, and you got a little bit of both to have real comfort. At Elkin High School, the domestic hot water that does like cafeteria and the old gym. So it used to do a lot more than that. With renovations, it's been cut back to that's all it's doing now. It is grossly oversized and it's 65 years old. That water heater and tank needs to be replaced altogether. It needs to be engineered to fit the area that it's doing, cut back in size. You probably cut it back far enough to get out from under the Department of Labor inspections. And I forget what the BTU output is, but if it's less than a certain amount, it doesn't have to be inspected by Department of Labor. As it is now, it has to be inspected, but with a refit, you could probably get out from under that. Also, at Elkin High School, the steam boiler. It does the auditorium and the old gym. It used to do a lot more. It is grossly oversized for the amount of space that it is heating. I know when we were on fuel oil, that boiler would burn 50 gallons an hour. At diesel fuel prices, that's like $200 an hour. Now it is more efficient running on gas, and it doesn't run as much because it's not heating as much, but it is still grossly oversized for what it's doing. It needs to be, the plan was when there was renovations we thought were going to take place in the old gym, we would tie that in to the old gym, cut the old gym off, resize the boiler just to do the auditorium. But all that went away when we realized we were not going to be able to do any renovations in that old gym. So, I mean, that's kind of maintenance in a nutshell, and a dip inside my head of what all I see are things that need to be taking place around here.
You're making my head spin. I'm just thinking.
Mine's spin too.
And I'm thinking about, you met with us once a couple of months ago, I think it was, and you talked about the needs at the elementary school and the possible additions. And I'm just thinking, wow, we're really behind in a lot of areas.
Thinking on that is by doing an addition on that, and now not having sixth grade over there, it frees up space to where you can move students from like one of those wings, completely clean out that wing, move it to this other space, do this wing renovations here. Then when it's done, you move them back and you shift to this wing, and then you keep playing shell games, I guess, moving people around until you get the whole building done. Because you're not going to be able to do it in a summer. You can do pieces in a summer, but it's going to have to.
That'd be like a 3-year thing, since there's kind of 3 wings?
I'm going to say at least a 3-year thing, and then at the end of it, in my head, I would get rid of the modular, because then you'll have the space all on one level where you can get rid of that modular building.
Which would be good.
Which would be good. I mean, the building is a good building. You know, it's not like a brick and mortar building. It loses value over time. It's been maintained. We've put a new roof on it. It's not wet. But it's aging. That building is about 18 years old now. Because it was here right before I came to work. So, I mean, was kind of my thinking there, Mr. Blackburn. With doing addition and renovations, it frees you up space-wise to be able to do it.
Well, everything, I mean, nothing is improving. Everything is in a state of, according to the second law of thermodynamics, everything's in a state of degeneration. That's why we've talked as a board about having long-term, middle-term, short-term improvement plans. But this concerns me heavily. I mean, all of a sudden, the house starts falling down, which it won't, but piece by piece it will. Am I correct?
So in 2014, Mr. Bill Powell was hired by Surrey County to do building assessments all over the county. And all the schools were strongly encouraged to use him to do building assessments at all of the schools. And he did. We spent 2 or 3 days together combing through every nook and cranny in all of these buildings. And the things he came back with was pretty interesting. And he had them ranked. And of course, this is before there was even any talk about a new gym. There were the 2 big things on the list was renovations in elementary school and renovations in H. Carpenter Gym. And he had them ranked 1 and 2, but he was kind of vacillating back and forth. Because you could make an argument either way. His argument was do elementary school first because there are more students affected in that building. The board at the time decided that the gym was the priority, and it changed from renovating an old building to building a new building during that process. So everything else, the can just keeps getting kicked down the road now as far as doing renovations. And one of the other things he also said in that study was that Elkin City Schools should be spending $600,000 a year on maintenance alone. And since that time, my maintenance budget has actually gone down from what it was then.
What is it now? Approximately.
Approximately in the $125,000, $115,000 area, which doesn't cover a lot anymore when you look at material costs of things and labor costs nowadays, that money does not go very far.
You could almost spend that on lighting, light bulbs. I mean, when you
Well,
consider
you
all the
could, except for the
schools-
fact that like we've changed out most of this stuff to LED. So, and knock on wood, we've not had a huge amount of problem with LED. The interesting thing is the only place we've had problems with LEDs have been in the gyms, which are the hardest ones to get to do anything about. But, you know, like these that we've put in elementary school, I don't think we've had a problem with a single one of them. I can remember, and there's a few of them that have been on, like some of the emergency lighting and stuff. It's been burning now for 12 years and they're still going. Anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, so you had mentioned the steps and kind of rerouting kids and all that. When do you think that's gonna take place? I think
I hope within the next month.
in the next
I
month
can-
already?
Well, I can't vouch
Oh.
for this contractor, but he talked like he was gonna be able to go ahead and get on it pretty soon. I would love to do it before we start getting into cooler,
Yeah.
cold weather, because that doesn't usually bode well with concrete.
And is it the same, like what will go over where the metal is right now?
So what it'll be, they'll actually pull the metal up.
Okay.
And then there's been a lot of new technology come about in, like concrete coatings and epoxies. So they'll redo all those steps. And I asked him, I said, well, so this is a contractor that did most of the concrete work on the new gym. He's a local guy in Boonville. And, I really liked him and I really trust him. And I said, well, am I better off just to tear these out and redo them? He said, if you tear these out, it's going to be $150,000 to replace them. He said, I can refurb them for 20.
Mm.
So they'll recoat all the concrete. And then the plan is to actually put those aluminum treads back on because there's nothing wrong with the treads themselves. And it does create a very good surface. They need to be put down a little better than those were initially. And part of the problem with those is those original steps had like a metal 3-inch nosing on them. And they took that nosing off and they filled that space in with a concrete product, and it's not held up and come loose and allowed the front edge of those steps to kind of tip a little bit, which puts more pressure on the screws that are on the back.
Yeah.
It makes the heads pop off. Which is
Easily cause someone to trip.
that's why it's been a priority to get them.
Well, I'm just curious, this is probably a stupid question, but why do we have treads on those, but not on the main ones going up to the high school?
Did them because like I said, they had those nosings on them.
Mhm.
The nosings were given a lot of problems at the time. And the way those nosings have to be laid in the concrete when you pour them. So there was going to have to be something else done.
I see.
And they put those treads down. It's why most of the time when you start digging back there, you find out there's a reason why. It may look stupid now, but at the time there was a reason why it is the way it is and done the way it's done.
Makes
Other
your eyes-
places they've held
Your
up.
eyes go crazy when you look down. I hear that all the time. People are like, oh, it's making me dizzy, like those lines.
Hadn't noticed that. I do hold the handrail when I walk.
Yeah. I heard some people say that the last
The way
time.
my ankles are anymore.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I think that somehow or another, we need to discuss and work with the budget committee, work with our financial officer to get the maintenance, budget increased, because bit by bit, things are gonna start falling apart. And I think you've done an excellent job, a fantastic job, actually, thinking about all the things that you have to do. And we need to be able, though we are in a heavy financial crisis now, but if the lights go out, the water goes out, the heat goes out, the teachers may be there and the students may be there, but you're not gonna be able to hold classes. And if the infrastructure falls, the main reason we're here to educate our children is gonna collapse. And so that's something I think we need to work with, and Dr. Hall, you with by the way, it's good to have our new financial officer here. And, I think he'll be a great asset to us. Just met him today, and I think he's had enough experience, he can help with that and get some more money for it.
You know, that'd be something we have to get from the county commissioners.
Well, we can go lobby those guys.
Yeah.
Take a hammer and hit them on the toes if they don't.
Does anybody have anything else or questions or? No. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Britshaw. Coming up to talk to us about some technology.
I can't watch this and speak, I'm gonna take my phone, so if the guys think my sound is wrong, let me know. Thank y'all for letting me speak tonight. Don't have too many things I wanted to share offhand, but I wanted to introduce our team members and talk about a few things that are still going on in the district and what we've done this summer and what we're still trying to do to get school started. So as of right now, myself, Ricky, Scotty, and Amanda make up the team. And Amanda, of course, is also the PIO, so she can't help us every day like she used to. But this time of year when we're having to print security badges for the kids to get in and out of the school and all that kind of stuff, she comes over and helps us tremendously. So they're all online right now trying to help me, saying, hey, the sound's too low, hey, the sound's too high. So even though they're not here, they're doing a great job, and I couldn't get by without them. And we spent a lot of time in Infinite Campus, but the tech was not the one driving this whole project. Ashley has done a great job with Infinite Campus. And like I say, Ricky and I and Amanda and Scotty, we've all been trying to help as much as we could. And we've had a lot of stuff to do. I mean, we were meeting weekly with the Infinite Campus folks and had a lot of training going on and a lot of stuff. Early on, we had some issues with the data conversion, and that's kind of what got us started having a little bit of issue. Matter of fact, when they first converted our data from Power School to Infinite Campus, you could look for me and it would pull up Marcus Wilmoth. You could search for Ricky and it would pull up Dr. Hall. So there were a lot of issues early on. And matter of fact, we tried to fix them, they tried to fix them, and it just kept getting worse to the point that they said, we're just going to wipe everything out and start from scratch. So the trouble is, Ashley had already started putting in stuff for the new year. I had already started putting in stuff to convert all to the ClassLink, Clever, Link, child nutrition, bus stuff, all that stuff that I had already finished went away. So we had to kind of start over. We still have some issues, but we're correcting them now as we find them. Matter of fact, if I go look for myself, it'll still pull up Marcus Wilmoth every great once in a while. So we're still trying to figure that out. But the contract, of course, also provided other modules. There is a Messenger. So right now we're using Blackboard Messenger, but the hope is we've taken out a short-term contract right now to get us to Christmas. But hopefully we'll be able to train everybody how to use this system that the state's going to provide for free for the remainder of the Infinite Campus. It also has a check-in, check-out system that may or may not meet our needs. So again, we've bought some short-term contracts for a few of those items that's actually part of Infinite Campus. Just like they have an LMS that will do very much like Canvas will do. But like I said, we've just not had time to train all the staff and the teachers on how to utilize this new product. So hopefully we can give them some training, get them used to it, and that way we won't have to buy contracts for Canvas. We won't have to buy contracts for PowerSchool or the messaging system we're using now, Blackboard. So that's just some of the things we've been doing this summer. The other big thing we were doing this summer is Windows 10 is going end of life on October the 14th of 2025. Now that don't mean you're going to come in and the computer's going to not run anymore. It'll run fine. It's just not going to get any security updates. So if you're not watching what you're doing and you open an attachment that somebody sends you, and maybe it wasn't that person that sent you the attachment, it was some nefarious person, there's not going to be anything there to kind of catch it if we don't do some updates. So a lot of the time we spent this summer was creating Windows 11 machines. Basically, Ricky and Scotty went around to every lab to start with. And we basically wiped out that whole computer configuration. We added RAM to the vast majority of them. Our computers, the desktops especially, have some age on them. They could definitely, stand for a replacement. But if you throw RAM at old computers, typically that'll get you a couple more years down the road. So we have we have over 500 desktops and about 182 laptops that was running in Windows 10. So we've been upgrading those, evaluating them to see if they needed to just be done away with. So all the 7010s that we had, we're actually going to put them out of their misery. And we're updating the 7020s and anything newer than that. So like I said, we've spent a lot of time this summer getting that done. We still have a few here to update, and now we're also starting to bring in the teacher laptops. So they're running 10 today, but we've already done quite a few, but we'll be calling people and say, hey, we need your laptop today. We're going to swap it out with a new one or a different one or update it to a Windows 11, depending on the age and the sizes. We've always been trying to update our systems as they age out. Our old intercom system, when we started updating this last construction for the gymnasium, we were unable to update our intercom system at the high school and middle school. So we put in a brand new Wasiga system. And then when we had some money available for security, the one at the elementary school is the exact same model the high school had, but we had some of the security money and we went ahead and put in the Wasiga system because once it starts malfunctioning, it would be completely useless. So we were just trying to be proactive there. So we have a new system for the Elkin Elementary School as well. We still have some tweaks before we can actually utilize it 100%, but we're getting there. The new phone system, we got a little bit better deal going to OneCloud from 3CX. So again, trying to save some money. We upgraded. We didn't have to replace our phones, thank goodness. That was one of the key factors of going to OneCloud is we did not have to replace our phones. We could just get them reprogrammed. But, and they're still working out a few details as well. Just like right now on my phone, if I get a call from OneCloud, I get the extension, but I can't see who it is. So on the old 3CX, we could see who it is. So hopefully they'll get that fixed here soon. And our switching, we've tried to replace switching and access points. You see one access point over there. That's what provides our wireless. We typically have one access point per classroom. And in larger spaces like the auditorium, there's two. Or if there's the gymnasiums, the cafeterias, anything that's that much bigger, we'll have a couple of those guys. And they can usually handle about 50 devices at one time per device. So we've been trying to make sure that every classroom has good internet access throughout the building. So without those, we're kind of not going to do very well. So E-rate cycle will start again. Every 5 years, we get a shot at replacing a lot of those APs, and they're usually in a 5-year time, they're out of date. They're wireless. Those guys will do Wi-Fi 6, but Wi-Fi 7's out now. I'm sure by the time we get to new ones, they'll probably be Wi-Fi 8. So what we're trying to do is get all the devices over to 5 gigahertz instead of 2.4, which is what most people started out with. There's a lot more bandwidth in the 5 gigahertz range. So, we're trying to get as many of our devices over to that 5 gig and off the 2.4. So like I said, our next E-rate cycle, we'll be applying for replacements for the access points. Thankfully, we'll have about $200,000 E-rate that will be available to us. So it won't cost us to replace those. We'll be able to utilize E-rate money as long as we cross our T's and dot our I's. The Aruba switches, we've utilized E-rate money as much as we could. We've gotten a couple of those larger switches that we still have to put in. And we are trying to replace all of our old switches. We still have a couple over at the high school that were put in 2007. So, they have long lived past their better days. And these guys will definitely take us through to the next generation till we can get everything up. We did go from 1 gigabit per second to 10 gigabits per second over this summer between the sites. Our backups at 1 gigabit per second was taking several hours, and now those backups can take, a lot less time coming across and getting the copy of the data. And then once we get that copy of the data, we're also copying that same backup down to Durham. So even if a, unforeseeable tornado wiped out all of us, we still have our data setting in Durham. And hopefully that will never wipe out Durham and us at the same time. Our analog TV, we've had analog since the day I came, and we've been trying to switch things over to digital. And it's basically a have to. There is no more analog TV that you can just go buy off of Amazon or buy from somebody else. The last time we tried to buy a multiplexer for analog, it was impossible to find. So we're having to switch everything over to digital, not because that we want to, it's just the nature of the business. It's no longer available. And like I said, at the little tagline there, anymore, if it has a quarter battery, they call us to fix it. So, challenges, documentation. Like I said, I just want to make sure that everything's documented. We've got a lot of new equipment. We've got an infinite campus. A lot of things have changed over the past couple of years. And I just want to make sure that we've got documentation on all that stuff so that, if somebody's coming in behind us, there's at least something there to say, this is where we were, this is what we did to get where we are now. Synchronizing all third-party software to IC. I still have a few things that we're trying to get talking. Like I said, I told Philip with the bus software that I couldn't give him everything, but I could give him 90% of the fields, but he's asking for a couple more fields that I'm trying to add to that upload to the smart bus software. So just like that, there's a few things we've gotten, Follett's going, ClassLink's going, Clever's going, but there are just a couple more that we have to get synchronized with Infinite Campus. The finish out the network upgrades was just one of those things that I was showing you. We've started swapping them all out, and we've just got a few more switches to get it all out of the way. And then, of course, we're always worried about hardware refreshes. We bought several computers during the COVID money when it was available. But as machines get older, they need to be replaced. So we're always, looking for other pots of money that we can buy replacement laptops, replacement desktops. And The other things around the school that may come up, just like John said, we need to kind of future plan. The one thing that I've asked for on 3 different occasions, and actually John and I have both asked for this in our budgets, but it always kept getting lower priority. But I just want you guys to be aware of it, is the light system in the auditorium, that light board. It's huge. It's older than the hills. It was there the day I came to Elkin. The soundboard has been replaced, projection system's been replaced, all the projectors have been replaced. Everything's been replaced except for that light board, and mainly the reason we can't replace that light board is cost. I've had it bid 3 times, and John can attest to it too. We've had people look at it on numerous occasions. We're looking at $130,000 to replace that light board. Matter of fact, it's so old, it's got a floppy disk in the side of it. So, it works great. It may work great 5 years from now, but once it starts going, there's a lot of dimmers back in a closet. If those things start going, then we can't control how intense those lights are. So maybe we can pair with the Arts Foundation. Maybe we can pair with the Education Foundation, but we need to sometime sit down and at least try to come up with a plan, even if we just squirrel back 10 grand a year or something. That way it won't be such a huge investment when it does fail. All right. That's basically what I had.
Brett, I know you can't foresee the future, but with this light board, things being as they are, what would you project its longevity to be? I mean, you know, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
You don't have any way to know. Well, I know, but
Flip a coin, but
everything needs to be, all those are still built out of the lights.
yeah, it's all really intense.
Converted
LED.
LED, and at that point, you're talking about getting lighting engineers in, so LED is very temperamental and specific colors and all that stuff, and we've done the house lights out in the main part of the auditorium, but the stage lights, I'm not touching that. Because that is, you get into the theatrics and I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
But there's a tremendous amount of heat that's generated with those things also. Power usage and heat.
Exactly.
And
It would save us a lot of money in use if we switch.
that light. Lord Brown has done a phenomenal job.
He has.
Care of all this stuff all these years, and I cannot tell you how blessed we are to have that man. Doing what he does in that auditorium.
It's not just a simple matter of swapping the bulbs. They basically said the whole electrical system is not compatible with LEDs. So it's not like you can just go in and start, okay, I'm gonna replace this section and this section. It's basically gonna be a wipeout. Yeah.
125 to 130, is that just the board? That's not replacing the electrical and the lights?
That's
That is-
replacing the electrical, the lights, and board.
Everything.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that was just the board.
No, that's it. That's everything.
Not that that makes it better.
Okay,
But that's good to know.
okay.
Okay.
Maybe
Thank
it's
you.
a light system.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your thoroughness, and John, you as well. Really, this has been nice having you guys come up here.
Information.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Good to be updated on all those things. Okay, we have first readings, Dr. Hall.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Before you is, first readings of some policies. Again, these are first readings. If, these will set for 30 days and we will look at those again in September. And if there's any changes or, discussion on those, we can do that in September. Madam Chair, are there any questions at the moment on any of those?
I do.
Okay, sure.
I have a couple, let's see. Do I have this right? There, oh yeah, okay, sorry, I crossed off. 3210, can you pull that up for a minute, please? And maybe that, maybe this one doesn't need to be pulled up, but what I'm looking at on this one, it was the parental inspection of the objection to instructional materials. And on it, I had handwritten this, it said something about, there's a place on the main, there should be a place on the main homepage of every school where you can click to see a pull down of all library books in the school. So my question is, since that's in there, do, you know how we're supposed to make sure that this applies to us? Do we have that? Do we have a place online on the front page where people can go and look and find things like that?
We started it, but I don't know what the final thing was. Matter of fact, I wrote a little program. All they had to do was scan in the barcode on the back of the book and it would go pull the titles, all that good stuff, but I'm not sure where we stand today. Maybe one of the principals collaborate.
So, Donna has that ready to go.
Okay.
It's just a matter of linking whatever system she uses to catalog all the books. Is it, yeah, wallet, I guess. So it's an easy, if it's not there, it seems to be an easy link.
We can do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just we haven't necessarily done it yet, so. And that's fine. I went out to look and I thought either we aren't going to say this in the policy, or if we are, then we need to make sure that we have it done. And it sounds like the legwork has already been done then. Okay,
So you know, we've not.
Yeah.
been a specialist in health.
yeah.
I'm sure she was on the staff at home, but I'm not certain. Where it
That's a
is.
good one.
You think it'll share?
You did. Okay.
A simple connection to join the elementary with the middle and the high school?
No,
Okay.
however, whatever system the library uses to catalog their books,
Yeah.
Okay,
it's just a matter of connecting that to it.
Okay.
okay.
What I understand.
So then not to put extra work on people, but then Britt, would that be? Who wants to take care of this and make sure that it happens then, I guess?
We have it put on the page. I'm
Okay.
sure Amanda can do it too. It depends on the system, you know, sometimes it's just a PDF that it generates of what's available.
Okay,
So that's not hard to do at
Okay.
all, but now if it's actually hyperlinking to another system that gives people the ability to search and look, then it might take a little more detail, but it
Okay.
shouldn't be a big.
well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say then I will, Dr. Hall, I'll place this kind of on you to work with Britt to find out kind of how it can be done. And then when we circle back around for a second reading, we can know a little bit more of if it'll work, how it'll work. If you've been able to place it on, but then it does say it would be on the main page someplace. So
So-
otherwise it needs to be changed.
So in other words, when someone goes to the Elkin City School website and they click books, will they be for the entire elementary, middle, or?
The policy stated that each school would have its own.
Right,
So
right.
like you'd go out to Elkin Elementary and there would be
Right,
something
right,
saying,
yeah.
yeah.
So that rather than, if I understood Britt, that it would be joined, or will there be three separate?
Well, the middle and high share the same library, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Like I said, we can look, right now, the Folliot has two distinct locations for the high school, middle school versus the elementary, but we could always combine those two.
okay.
Okay, so there was that one. I had 3320 for school trips, and this is in two places, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which one.
Actually, Madam
Three?
Chair,
You said
three
three.
play, 1310, 3320, and 3620.
Okay. Underneath, if, we'll start with this one just because I know right where it is. I wrote it down. On 3320 for school trips, there's like a B, section B. And in it, there's a 1 and a 2 about how students will share rooms. And the number 2 is the one that I would suggest to the board to take out. And I did speak to a principal about this today. And they agreed that there was no reason for it to be in there. Yeah, two. It says the parents of all students sharing the sleeping quarters have provided written permission to the school. I'll give everybody a minute, but I don't see a reason why we would need that. Number one is fine, but, like I said, after speaking with one of the principals as well, we both thought there's really no reason to keep that in there.
I would think, Madam Chair, that really that red highlighted could end as defined by, I can't see that well right this moment. GS 12-30 during a school trip. I
Mhm.
think we could stop it right there and none of the other would need to be.
Well, I think number one does make sense. If the member of the
It's
other
like if
biological sex,
Their child was on the trip together. is
yeah.
what that-
Or if I had, if
Yeah.
my, instead of me having girls, let's say I had a boy, and so I
Mhm.
stayed with that boy in the
Mhm.
room, like that would make sense,
Mhm.
because we're family.
Right, right, right.
So take out number 2.
What does the rest of the board think?
And when we're talking about students here, we're not talking about K-5, are we? We're talking primarily.
Yeah,
Middle and,
Yeah, primarily middle and highlighted these overnight trips, yeah.
we're just basically taking out where it says that you can have two students of opposite sex sharing a room.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, just where it
Number
says
two.
two or two, like from there on out.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's, okay with that then? Okay, so yes, please. And then, Earl said that he found it in those two other ones, so if you can just mimic that in those other two, that would be
Okay.
perfect.
1310, 3620.
And this had come up in our meeting back there, 3510. It talked about the board and the school administration will exercise their authority to select appropriate materials. We were kind of talking about that, not about when we were talking about money. And I had said, well, we've never been brought anything like this. So I guess just talking to you plainly out here right now that if you come across anything that will be implemented in the schools, making sure that the board is aware and looking it over as well.
Especially the curriculum.
Oh, and then the last one was in 4318. This is the last thing I found of use of wireless communication devices underneath A2. It was talking about the different, devices, and I wasn't sure if, just in that sentence, if we should also include smartwatches. Cause I know that was in the, middle school for sure, when we were at the, orientation. Where is that?
Okay.
So I said A2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it talks
Sure.
about everything, limited cellular phones, tablet, laptop computers, paging devices, two-ways radios, and gaming devices, and I just think maybe smartphone, or,
Watches.
yeah, thank you,
Okay.
should be in there as well. And that's it. Those were all of my catches.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any?
Madam Chair, I have a couple here.
Okay.
One, and I can't find it here, but what was sent to me via computer or via the text from Ms. Seaver, where it talks about, I think I had 1735 communicating 7820.
We are not in that yet.
Yeah, we're not.
You're going into action items.
Okay, I thought that was in the first read.
No, that is, second.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything in the first readings that they would like to go over? Have any other questions? Okay. Then those will,
We'll make those adjustments and they'll sit for
Set for
30
30
days and we'll
days.
come back next month. Okay? Thank you.
perfect, thank you. Right, then the action items.
Yes, Madam Chair, before you are that, policies for action this evening, and you had, we tabled these, several months ago. And so we've had time to look over these, and we're bringing those back to the table because we'll start getting a slew of others we're predicting next month to start looking at. So we want to go ahead and get some of these out of the way if possible. Any questions or concerns with these?
Again, I'm looking, it seems like that we are eliminating, am I still in the right, we're eliminating two of these because one of them basically covered, it's on the harassment. I think, is it, 1725, 1726, 1735. 35, I'm sorry. And I think that 1725 is basically saying the same thing as 1726 and 1735. Is that correct? That's the one that we're going to vote on to stand, because it's all inclusive of everything that the other two say.
This has been so long now, I can't remember, but I feel like Ally said that that you couldn't get rid of the other two. Because if we could have, then they wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be voting.
Hiding the
Yeah.
other two policies in that policy.
Mhm. I think some is dealing with staff, some is dealing
Mhm.
with students. And it's Title IX involved, so that's probably why they have them separated.
Or is there any way that you could join the two? Again, one of the frustrations, how many of us have read the entire policy manual? There's so much redundancy. I know I've harped on that. But is there any way you can join the two and combine everything into one and still make sure that we're in harmony with Title IX? I mean, when you read those two that were sent to us, that were completely marked through or struck through, there was so much, you'd have to look carefully to find a word of difference between the two.
And that might be something that Ally does.
Well,
Consolidate and going.
well, I think either Jennifer or Dr. Hall told me that you have a team that is working through these.
That's what we had started this.
And I think that would
We
be,
actually started last year meeting and talking about policies, and then we disseminate when we receive those updates from the service to the proper director or myself or principals to look at over those and make any changes and tweaks to present to you as a board to look at, and then you make any tweaks or changes. And so really, we all have eyes on them, and we come together in agreement before we pass any changes.
so Jennifer, you saying that, that Ally said that the two that were presented to us in red, we cannot do away with them? Do you know that?
I mean, I'm not gonna like say 100%, but I'm pretty positive that that is what she had said. I mean, I definitely can re-ask her, but, yeah, because otherwise we would have done that. I do remember her saying that they had to stick. I just cannot remember exactly.
Well, I'm not comfortable voting on those until we can get an affirmation of whether we can eliminate them because they're already covered under 1725, or we can't eliminate them. So I think.
Well, they would have to be combined though still. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but there are differences in each one. It's not the same policy.
Well, I read them, and maybe I didn't read them as closely and carefully, but I found very little difference there. I mean, it was just a repetition of words with an additional, and I can't remember what they were. But again, it's just, frustrating redundancy. I mean, you don't keep reinventing the wheel. If the 1725 is conclusive and it covers everything that policy, that Title IX requires, then I don't understand why we need the other two. I thought 1725 was well-written, very good. I sit there and I thought, is there anything missing? Is it not covering anything? And I could not think of one single thing that wasn't covering. So,
Madam Chair, do you want to pull 1710 through 1735 out until we talk to Ally? Just that chunk,
Yeah, I guess. That's fine.
and
Then we can
we'll get,
go with the rest of them.
we'll
That's
get
fine.
confirmation from her, and if she says, hey, we've got to have them all, then we can bring those back in September.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
if,
Well, that's not Title IX, though.
well, 1725 could stand and that would still be in place. Well, I guess all of these are in place.
Yeah, they're currently still in place, because
Yeah.
they're, yeah, that,
But 1725, in my estimation.
we can ask her if we can combine them all into 1725.
Yeah,
And if she
because I
says
thought
we
it was
can,
so-
we'll work on that.
I thought it was so inclusive of everything.
Yeah, I don't think that one.
But it will do us all good to go back and reread them again and
Okay.
see if we missed anything.
So if I-
Including 1710, though, you think we need to go over as well? Or not? I thought we were just going over the Title IX ones,
Okay, just those three?
right? Or-
Yes, that's
Just the
what I
three
was
title-
thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, just the three Title IX ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
Okay.
17, 20, 25, 26.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, isn't 1735 also covering that? Because it's dealing, well, 1720 is non-discrimination. 1725 is sexual harassment and prohibited conduct and reporting process. And then 1726 is sexual harassment grievance process. And then 1735 is harassment defined. And I would think they're all covering the same thing. And if they could be combined, and then that would,
I don't know if you'd want to combine all that, though. I think that,
or we could keep 1735. It is not a Title IX, but it does give, I think, an excellent definition of what harassment is.
yeah, and I think if somebody is just wanting to look for that, I think that the people that use these the most are the principals. And they're the ones that go and pull these. So I think while we may think that there may be better ways to do this and combine it realistically, the only time that you and I are looking at these is like right now. They are looking at them not this specific one, but on a weekly basis, they may be pulling policies to either talk to a parent, to pass on to a parent, to whatever. And I think that the majority of these, while I agree with you completely,
Mhm.
but the little nuances in them help them. And, just defining harassment, great, send that on to somebody, right? It says exactly, like, I don't think that should be combined, so somebody has to look through a 14-page policy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the policy manual right now, hard copy is about this thick.
Mhm.
I think keeping this definition of harassment is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
If we could combine the others with the nuances that may be, again, it's gonna save a tree or two
Okay,
on down the road.
yes, sir.
All this printed material that,
So 20, 25, 26.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good.
and then we'll keep 1735, which we could
Yes.
go ahead and vote on this evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am in agreement.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was there anything else that anybody saw or?
Well, I had a question about, I'm not sure if it's Well, it is with 1735, and then 5070 about those who have, well, it's dealing, I think, with those convicted of felonies or so forth. And then there's a section in there about information of salaries, including,
That's back up in the other section. The 5070.
See that here.
That's back up in the first readings. The 5070 is, the public records.
okay, well, then I have a question about that. Because I've had several to ask me, what about this? What about that? And you know, when we had to deal with some of those radical salary issues and, you know, very painful for us to make. And I said, well, it's public information.
Mhm.
Well, how do you access it?
Mhm.
And I couldn't give them an answer. And when we go back up here, this first reading, I know we're in the second reading, but when you go back to 5070, and it's also in 7820, which is personnel files under the first reading. The question for me is, when I say, well, it's public information, you can go access. And the question comes back to me, oh, where do I find it? How is it accessed? And I thought that would be something to add to these, since it is public information.
Okay.
I mean, it protects the privacy of anyone and everyone that's mentioned, but there are certain aspects that definitely are public.
Mhm.
How do they access them? And I couldn't answer the questions. So that does go back to the first reading, and I
Okay.
apologize. I'm not seeing too
Okay, it's okay.
well today.
Is that it though? Before
That's
we-
all for me.
Okay, okay.
That's all for me.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. Well, then we need to vote on these policies excluding the three that we named. If everybody is okay with that, we'll need a motion to pass these.
I make such motion, Chair. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, and just for the record, I will contact Ally on those.
Okay.
Okay.
And, or do you want to, Dr. Hall?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have
I'll
you
do
do
it.
that. That's fine. Okay, then, Dr. Hall, you will be presenting, the NC driving school contract, please.
Thank you. That's great.
Mhm.
We'll be pulling it up. We did put out for RFP, request for proposal last year. It was up, that contract was up. And we only had one company reach out, and it's the same company that we've been using for years and years. And Ms. Moxley White reached out to Ms. Burton, and she didn't have any qualms at all about the company. They do a great job, she said. They meet our kids at the high school and pick them up in the afternoon for driving and such. And it seems like it's worked. Great, and she had good feedback from the parents as well with the communication piece from the company. So their contract, I think, yeah, Britt has it up now.
Rick, can you go back to the top, please?
And the company is called North Carolina Driving School. They, let's see, contract says here, the contract price in number 5, it's a 12-month contract, and they charge a sum of $310 per student based on 2 payments. I think he's got that piece up there, number 5. Then over on the next page, number 8, it shows their liability coverage, their insurance coverage that they provide as a company, an outside company, because they are driving our students. So you can see they're covered with accident and liability coverage there.
say I'm gonna date myself. When I was in high school here, one of our teachers was, one of our coaches, well, two of our coaches were certified driver's ed teachers.
They did it in-house.
They
Yes,
did
sir.
it in-house,
Yes,
but
sir.
we don't have that today, do we?
No, sir.
Well, that's why we need to get Brett and John, who have very little to do, to get them certified as driver's ed guys and save us some money, right?
Included in their documents, they did provide proof from their insurance company for the liability and accident coverage, which is fantastic. So they crossed all their Ts and dotted their Is with their supplying their information.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we receive this contract, or approve this contract.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. John Altmuller, you've got some bids for us as well.
So we started this process here a couple of months ago, trying to get bids for stage curtains. Didn't find a lot of companies that were into that, but I got bids from two. We advertised it 30 days on the website. I had one company, I just didn't think they were legit. They were in like Calgary, Canada or somewhere, and I just didn't feel comfortable on, they didn't submit a bid, but I specifically asked, I wanted these contractors to come to the location,
Mm-hmm.
see it, touch it, talk with George Brown and myself. Brought George in on it, because as I said before, he is all things auditorium and all knowing. And I trust everything he says about that auditorium. So two companies, Lux Out was one and Rose Brand was the other. So you'll see three actual bids here. I asked specifically, we asked for heavy duty tracks and rigging. Lux Out sent their bid in and said, this is what we have. And I said, well, I asked for heavy duty. And they said, oh, that's the heaviest you can get. Well, Rose Brand has a whole different part number here for the same track. The original two apples to apples bids, there's like $20 difference in the two bids. I would really like to go with the heavy duty rigging and track. Like I said, it's been 33 years and the track was not replaced when they did those curtains. I say this time we do it all and start with a clean slate. My opinion.
Well, as I was looking at these contracts, I thought, me personally, I thought Lux Out was out.
Well,
But which of these, and this is a question I wrote down, which of these do you think would serve us best?
I would go with the Rose Brand, the heavy duty track.
And the one that would be $72,995
Correct.
and 19 cents.
Correct.
And would that be your recommendation to the board?
That would be my recommendation to the board. Yes, sir.
I looked them up online. Both got very good reviews. I mean, they're both reputable companies, so I think, you know.
Yeah,
I think they are too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that either one is probably good, but if you feel more
And I agree. Either
comfortable,
one
then,
I think would be fine.
yeah,
But when I specifically said I want the heavy duty track.
yeah, yeah, no, I
and it's-
agree.
And a large part of that is because of the length
Mm-hmm,
of that, or the width of that stage. A lot of those runners go from wall to wall.
yeah,
Backstage, they're 75 feet long.
yeah.
It's not your normal high school auditorium stage.
Mhm.
And and in both of these bids, it's also includes what they call the scrim, which is kind of that opaque
Yep.
cloth that they project off of. So the original scrim that was in that auditorium, I don't know if you've ever paid any attention or not, but it became a painted backdrop,
Yes.
which technically ruined the scrim when they started painting it. So, the new screen will go back in that same location as the old one, and people need to be forbidden to ever paint again. You can project
Yeah.
and not paint.
Mhm.
Because it's a miracle that scrim is still hanging there with the amount of weight of paint that's hanging on.
Wow.
Oof. Anyway, is my recommendation.
This is capital money. It's already been earmarked.
Yes.
So we.
And it will actually, I can't remember the exact figures, but it will leave a little bit of money, which could be put into another little pot like Britt was talking about.
You mean like a light
Take into
board?
account for a light board.
Okay.
And
Okay.
start drawings from some of these little leftover pieces here and there of capital
Okay.
go towards something of that nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you after we vote on this, so don't leave yet.
After 4.
When are you looking to have this done, once it's?
We'll write the bid, but it's gonna be probably 10, 12 weeks on making the curtains and all that stuff. So I mean, it's gonna be potentially first of the year.
Yeah.
Before they actually, which might actually be better first of the year rather than December, because you got all your concerts and that. If they can get them before that, that'd be great. In November, I think they said it would take about a week to do,
Okay.
which I was impressed that they could do it in a week. It's not my
Nice.
world of business.
What color are they?
Well, all your rear are gonna be black. The front one is the only one that's colored.
Flower blue? Or-
And originally that was kind of a purple,
Mm.
what I would call it purple. Need somebody with better eyes than me, pick out the exact color, because I'm not a good color person. I figured we'll get a few people together to make that decision. But I'd stay with similar to what you're at now. The one now is just very faded.
Mhm.
Originally, they were gold. When you and I came through, they were gold.
Just across that.
That's terrible.
platform.
Seats were gold too.
Curtains.
Wow.
I kind of felt rich.
It's kind of like the Johnny Carson show.
Majestic.
Need a bubble machine.
Yeah.
Okay, board, unless there's any other comments or questions, I guess I would recommend a motion for the Rose Brand heavy duty track and rigging quote.
Madam Chair, I make such motion.
Thank you. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Uh-huh.
Aye. Okay, and my question was, the bathrooms. I remember at one time y'all were talking about that. Where?
There was a little bit of money back for bathrooms. but
Yeah.
not enough.
Okay.
And that's
Why-
the,
Which is why nothing has happened.
Auditorium
Is-
in the lobby.
Does that remain there, or are you gonna take that?
Remains- It's still there,
Okay.
but there again, it would be scrimping some other
Yeah.
money from another capital project to throw in with that to where you actually have enough to do the project.
Just everybody
yeah.
sees it, everybody
I know,
uses
they're
that.
horrible. The bad thing in doing that is you're actually gonna lose a toilet in each one,
Oh, really?
because you're gonna have to be handicapped.
ought to be the code.
Right, to get to, right, and you're gonna have to expand the doors, sizes and all that. Yeah, I had a company come in and estimate it like a year or so ago, and it was around 80 some thousand, I think, to do them both.
Okay,
I
that's
think
better than I thought it would be.
Like 66,000 maybe in that account right now, so it wouldn't take a tremendous.
How
We're
much
close.
is in
So
the
we're
account,
close.
did you say?
I think 66,000 is what I.
Maybe if some of our people go in there and see how natty they are, that they might contribute some more money and get this done.
Oh, I don't know. But thank you for answering that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Julie Simpson. Improvement plan, yes.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Hall. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. I'm going to review with you our personal wellness plan for the 25-26 school year. Pull it up Okay, so based on the school board policy, you see there, each PSU has to adopt and implement a plan for promoting student mental health and well-being. And the plan must address these 4 elements. So what I've done is tried to break those 4 elements down sort of quickly in the slideshow to show you kind of how we're meeting those 4 elements, and then we can look at the entire plan and whatever questions you may have, we'll go from there. But we do have to report to DPI by September 15th of each year about the content of the plan, our compliance with requirements, contacts for student wellness, and number of vacancies related to wellness. So we do have to have it approved by the board and reviewed at least every 5 years beginning this year. So element 1 was universal promotion of wellness and prevention through core instruction, curriculum, and environment. And things that we do incorporate those learning strategies into classrooms and school management. Our counselors help with that. Our teachers are wonderful with that. Providing physical activity to students in the interest of improving mental health. Multi-tiered system of support for intervention and learning strategies, and then an established shack, which we have those meetings, at least 3 meetings a year, sometimes more often if needed. The second element is early intervention for student wellness, and that's an annual review of policies and procedures, a personal wellness check, or a check-in 3 times a year to identify at-risk students, and then annual training for staff are the ways that we're meeting that element currently. Element 3, referral treatment and re-entry. So engaging our community providers for school, family, and community partnerships, access to school-based therapy. We provide information and resources related to child abuse and neglect, and there's our policy that tells us we have to do that. And then procedures established for follow-up with family and providers when there are issues that need to be addressed. Element number 4 that is required is the suicide risk referral protocol. And that is an established specific protocol for the identification of at-risk students. And these are our action steps. So there is a risk assessment checklist. There's a parent notification, a coping plan, and a support plan, all directed to that suicide risk. So our counselors and school nurses do collect data throughout the year, and counselors design lessons based on student need. We continue to build those school, family, and community partnerships. We have stakeholders that are involved with us that are very supportive and helpful. We do train staff to handle situations appropriately when they come up, and the procedures are reviewed annually, update them as needed. And our character education is a big thing. In all the schools, the students are recognized for displaying a focused core value each month. And those core values are based on the portrait of a graduate, adaptability, all those things. Yes. This is the actual plan. It starts with a compelling why and vision for personal wellness improvement. So Elkin City Schools focuses on health and well-being of every student by providing a comprehensive school counseling program to empower students to achieve academic and personal success. We value student success inside and outside of the classroom by teaching students to adapt, collaborate, communicate, think critically, show empathy, learn, and to take personal responsibility. So these guiding questions, and we have to then write a description and action items, how we are addressing those. The first one is just data, where we get our information from, and then talking about our strengths and needs. And our community partnerships, The counselors and I, when we were working through this, we feel like that's a strength for us in our mental health services. We do have some tiered interventions in place to help students. And then our universal screening. Last year was the first year we did it and were able to collect data 3 times in the year. So that was good information. And then we're just kind of shoring up that process a little bit this year. Any questions about what I've said so far? Okay, so again, just talking about initiatives through instruction, curriculum, environment. We do have that MOU with Jody Province. Parents are informed about that personal wellness check-in each year. It's an opt-in procedure. There's a letter that goes home to parents each year. And it includes the questions on the personal wellness check-in. So students in grades 4 through 12th do their own check-in. It's like a never, sometimes, always kind of thing. And then K3, teachers answer those questions as they get to know those students. Character ed, we do have those classroom lessons and we recognize those students through those core values. The staff mental health training plan, those are some things that we do each year. Vector training is part of that. Mental health first aid we did last year at the beginning of the year. We have had mental health training, all the teachers have had in their staff meetings at the beginning of the school year. And then counselors provide training throughout the year as needed. And that is a link to our suicide risk protocol that has all those things that we talked about earlier. Our specialized instructional support personnel, well, we're not really increasing that, but we are utilizing interns. So we do have a social work intern this fall that is working with us, so that's helpful. And then our community providers, you see a list there of those that we are working with very closely, always trying to build that. And then, as I said, school nurses and school counselors collect data, and it's tracked on a daily basis. Now, I will say last year was the first year of data collection for that, so DPI is still working to improve that a bit so we can get some good information from it. School counselors, their curriculum that they use, the portrait of a graduate is linked there, physical activity. The principals ensure that our kids are getting the required amount of activity during the day. And that again talks about the personal wellness survey. Okay. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it before tonight, if you have any questions or if anything I can explain further.
Julie, just off the top of you, this is a very hurtful, painful question for me to ask because when I was in high school, I had a fellow student commit suicide. I mean, and we've had them, a few thankfully through the years. Recently, a couple, 3 years ago, we had one. What factors do you see that make you convince that someone is suicidal? What risk factors can you immediately recognize? Because with 2, I know they were the last person in the world we thought would commit suicide.
Right, exactly. And I don't think you're ever going to know 100%, but.
Yeah, and that just, it's heart-wrenching that you see a valuable life wasted. But what are the things in this program, which I approve of? I like it. I think you're doing the very best that you humanly speaking can do. But what are those risk factors that you recognize immediately? I mean, apart from depression, or somebody says I'm going to commit suicide, usually that's more of a.
Right, the counselors are
always
involved immediately at that point. Just disengagement. I mean, that's one thing when they're always to themselves, they don't have a lot of positive relationships and something like that. That's a big thing for me. And I think we do a great job of maybe you're not an athlete, but we have clubs and we have other ways to involve you, to keep our kids involved in things. A change in personality. Maybe they're really talkative and they're quiet, or maybe they're usually quiet and they're talkative. You know, it just depends on the students. And I think our teachers are very good at building those relationships so they recognize those changes and can get our counselors to intervene. So
Julie, how do you decide, if you go down just a little bit, you said that these were the people that you work with. Keep going. Right there. Yeah. So all those different groups, that's great. And at the end you said, I think you said we're always looking for more, right? Okay. So my question is, how do you find these groups? And like, I've been approached by a couple different groups over time saying, oh, we'd really like to get into the school. We help, kids that are more violent or have bullying behavior, or I had another one that was talking more about, shoot, now I can't remember. I have it at home, but anyway, and they're just saying, we'd love to get involved. How do they go about doing that? Like, do you kind of decide who you need at the time, or I don't know if that was, do you vet them or?
Um, yeah, there would be a process for that. I mean, of
Mhm.
course. And I pull my counselors in on those kinds of things
Mhm.
because they're working with the kids every day and they know what we need and that sort of thing. I am part of a community collaborative through partners, which also we all get together. It's like the Shepherd's House and different groups like that to sort of collaborate on the needs in the county and how we can help one another and that sort of thing too. So,
So is it kind of based on what your needs are then as
Yeah,
well?
yeah.
In the school year?
And I have a question, not exactly about what you presented.
Okay.
For the Elk Academy, has there been more mental health services put in place for those kids or alternatives or?
More as opposed to the other student population.
Yeah, for example, Wilkes County, those kids, they got the best academy, but they get individual therapy in the school once a week and then they have group once a week.
And just because I used to work in Wilkes County, that's like a day treatment program where it's a whole different ball game. Our Elk Academy is just an alternative placement basically right now so they can get back on the right track. So no matter their placement, if they need it, they get it. I guess that's what I'm saying.
And if they don't have insurance, then like you partner with Jody Province, if they don't have insurance, the school owns that?
No. They can bill private insurance, they can bill Medicaid, and then if we need to work something else out, we just have to look at it individually.
Are there any other thoughts or questions? for Julie? No? Okay. Then, we need to approve this, improvement plan. So would anybody like to?
I'd like to entertain a motion.
Entertain a
Madam Chair?
motion, yeah.
Yes, I will make that motion.
Okay. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, this is where we were gonna put in voting on a possible extension on the superintendent's contract. Well, all of a sudden I'm like not able to speak. It's so weird, tongue-tied. So we've talked about this and we've reviewed a bunch of things, so I'm going to ask if, again, entertain a motion to extend 1 year of Dr. Hall's contract.
I move that we extend Dr. Hall's contract a year.
Okay,
And I will second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Hall.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, I was told when I first got on the board that is how you show that you think that the superintendent is doing a great job, and we fully support you and get behind you, and we are been so impressed with how you've helped us get back on the right footing after the past couple of years, and
Very much so.
yeah, so thank you for all that you're
Thank you.
doing.
Still work to do,
Yeah.
much work to do,
Every day. Thank you.
but good progress.
Yes, very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Where'd you get that, Earl? Or is
That's
that-
not me.
That was your, I always
your
say,
medicine.
yeah, my medicine.
Yeah, I get blamed for everything, Jim.
It's well, it's almost 8:00. Okay, personnel report. We still have 6 minutes, sorry. Yes, I need to entertain a motion for, the personnel report for August 25th, 2025.
I move we approve the personnel.
Jill, is there a second?
A second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And that brings us to, before I go over the announcements, are there any other board comments before we close out? If not, I would like to just say one thing. Dr. Hall had sent this to me, and I just think it's super important to say it, we had that terrible rainstorm that came through, and it poured water into our main gymnasium. And I was unaware of it, but I know that, I believe you said Miss Burton put out a call to everybody, staffing wise, and I'm sure Dr. Hall called some people, and there was just a group of people that came out in the evening and did so much. And so obviously, Dr. Hall and your wife, Brianne, thank you for doing that. You guys always do so much. And of course, Amanda Burton, Marcus Wilmoth, Heath Foster, Michelle Billings and her husband, Julie Reed and her husband, Adam Bashirs, Coach Baker, Leslie Baker, Carrie Norman, Tyler Robbins, Coach John Simons, Angela Roberts and Marty Roberts, Coach Wes Hurley and Coach Will Ballard. And if I'm missing anybody, I apologize. But I just want to say that it truly takes a full community to make our school what it is. And it's just amazing that you can put a call out there and so many individuals will come to do this hard work, because it definitely isn't easy work. And I just want to say thank you, if any of them are watching, or to anybody out there. So it's pretty amazing. We've got some really great people here in Elkin and on our staff. So that's all I had to say. Anybody else before I read? Announcements then. Monday, September 1st is the Labor Day holiday, so there will be no school. Monday, September 22nd will be our next regular Board of Education meeting, and that again will be here at 6 p.m. And other than that, I will
I move
take a
that we
motion.
adjourn, Madam.
Yeah, all right. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.